And also happening today, the annual homelessness count.
All right, so volunteers from different organizations, they come together and they're going to spend the next several hours canvassing different parts of the valley to count the number of people who are unsheltered right now. I want to bring in 12 News journalist Jade Cunningham. She joins us live from the Burton Barr Library this morning with more on the count and also what we're expecting from this year. Good morning, Jade.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, so the count is officially underway. The volunteers, they gathered here and they are starting to depart to their respective areas and where they will begin their count. You know, I was able to speak with some of the volunteers as well as the leaders about some of their expectations for this year's count. And they said it's just really hard to offer a prediction just because there are so many different factors that can play a role in this count. You know, obviously it's very wet out this morning. It rained overnight. Rain is also in the forecast. Weather plays a huge role on what this count could look like, especially if it's extremely hot or extremely cold. Obviously, the housing market as well as the zone cleanup, which we will get to in just a second, are also factors as well. There is a lot that can influence the final count, but those participating tell me that they understand that. So this is the annual point-in-time homelessness count. If you are not familiar with it, it is done on this day every year here in the Valley. It is also done on a national level as well. It's actually mandated by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Now, counting the number of those who are unhoused gives leaders on a local and national level an idea of what homelessness looks like here in the area, along with the demographic trends, and then also if there are any particular areas where those who are unhoused are currently living. It allows officials to better address homelessness and impacts how resources are also allocated. I was able to speak with Victor Rojas. He's the homeless liaison with the city of Phoenix. He tells me that he has been doing this count for about 14 years or so, mostly as a volunteer. He says substance abuse, mental health, and the high cost of living are probably the biggest reasons why those he meets are unhoused. Now, last year, Phoenix saw about a 2% increase from 2022 of those who were homeless. And he also tells me it's just really hard to predict what this year looks like. I asked him about the zone being shut down, and he told me his thoughts on if it may or may not have an impact. Take a listen.
After its closure and with the advent of new shelters and new beds, I'm optimistic that we're going to see a reduction in unsheltered individuals this year. So I tend to put a break on the expectation, but I tell everyone to go in with an open mind. Don't assume anything about anyone who we encounter. Just give everyone their fair chance to speak so that we can obtain the most authentic information from everyone that we encounter.
I also asked him how many volunteers he believed were out here in this particular area. He told me about 300 volunteers, which he said was very inspiring. He was very optimistic, obviously, about this year's results with those numbers going down. Volunteers started their count about 30 minutes ago. And again, just a lot of interest to see what these numbers this year will be showing. Reporting live, Jade Cunningham, 12 News Today in AZ.